I wish you could see me right now because I've re-recorded this video so many times. So it's Monday's math lesson, and we are on the PDF page 74, okay? So I'm just going to do one of the examples on there, and then we can move on. So this lesson is all about connecting decimals to fractions. So what we've known from fractions, and now we're just showing it multiplying fractions still, but in decimal form, or changing it into decimal form. So before we start, I'm going to go over the place value chart really quick so we can just refresh our memory about what that looks like. So I have the chart right here. It's ones, tenths, and hundredths. Obviously it goes on either way, but these are just the most important for this lesson right now. And ones, after ones place, then it's tenths and hundredths. So where does the decimal point go? Well, we know it goes right after the ones place, right? So in between the ones and the tenths place. So I'm going to show you a fraction, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like as a decimal. So let's start off with 2 over 1. So this first fraction. Well, we know that any number, this is an improper fraction, and 2 over 1 really means just a whole 2. So that would, I'm going to put that in purple in our ones place, right? Because it's 2 ones, whole numbers, okay? And then, let's move on to another fraction. How about 4 over 10, or 4 tenths? Well, they're really not trying to trick you. It really means that there's 4 in the tens place. So I'm going to put a 4 in the tens place. And as a fraction, or as a decimal, sorry, it looks like this. So it'll be point, so decimal 4. That's 4 tenths. Or you can put 0.4. I know a lot of teachers like that. The 0 is in front. That means there's 0 in the decimal place, or in the ones place. But we know that there's really 2 at the moment. And then last one, hundredths. So what would that look like? Well, let's say 5 over 100th, or 100. So that's 5 100ths. That really means that there's 5 hundredths. And that's going to look like, well, let's say there's 0 here. So we can put 0 in the ones place, 0 in the tens place, and then 5 in the hundredths place. Okay? And then this number, if there was 2 in the ones place, 4 in the tens place, and 5 in the hundredths, it would be 2.45. And we read this number as 2 and 45 hundredths, okay? We read that as 2 and 45 hundredths. All right? So let's move on. On page 74, they did the first example for you. So if you want to check that out while I'm writing this down. But I'm going to do B, I believe it is. So 4 tenths times 3 tenths. That's how many times I've re-recorded this. I memorized it by just writing it down so many times. All right, so they have this problem. It's multiplying fractions. And then they have these charts. You can trust me, this is the same chart that I wrote it a bunch of times. And then they say that this is equal to 1 whole. And it's broken up into how many? It's broken up into hundredths. So each piece, each little square is going to be equal to 1/100th. Okay? All right. So we look at this, and I know you guys are probably like, OMG, Miss Sullivan, I can just multiply across. You're killing me. You're really killing me. So 4 times 3, we know is 12. And then over 10 times 10 is 100. Okay, so we can just do that, right? But they want to know in decimal form. So we can change it into decimal form, and that's what's going to be on page 75. But I want to show you how it looks visually, okay? So I'm going to go in with green, and if each one of these is broken up, and each one is 1/100th, then a whole row would be 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 rows, right? So there's 10 rows this way, and there's 10 rows that way, because 10 times 10 is 100. So I'm going to do 4/10 first. So I'm going to pick 4 rows. I'm going to pick this top row. I'm going to put 4/10. Okay, shade it in green really quickly. All right, that's 4/10, okay? And then now we're multiplying by 3/10. So now I'm going to go on the other side just like we have been doing. I'm going to do 3/10 out of, but it's 3 out of the 4/10, right? Not out of the whole thing. Remember, that's why I told you don't add them together. So 1, 2, 3. All right. And then we can check our work by just counting our squares, right, that are double shaded. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow, we are geniuses. This would be 12 out of how many? Well, there's 100. So 12 100ths. Are we done? No, we are not done because they want it in decimal form. And I know that 12 100ths means that it's going to look like this. Or let's put the 0 in front. Okay? Because we read it from the back. So it wouldn't be this because if you want to start it in the 100th place, it wouldn't be this because that would be then in the 1000th place. Okay? So this would be 0.12 hundredths. Yes. So now we're going to move on to like the actual math where you won't have to draw all these, and then I'll give you your homework.